Hi, this is Srirag. So today we are going to learn about one-hot encoders. So what are these one-hot encoders and when do we use this? So basically all the machine learning algorithms cannot work with categorical data directly. So categorical data must be converted to numbers so that they can be used for the machine learning algorithms to uh, you know learn the patterns. So here in this video we'll go through an example to see how a one-hot encoder works. So what is one-hot encoding? As you can see, it's a representation of categorical variables as binary vectors. So how do we convert a categorical variable to a binary vector? So first we are supposed to uh, map these categorical variables to an integer values. Say there are three categorical variables. Then we are mapping them to integer variables like 1, 2 and 3. So now because we have three integers, we are supposed to convert this to a vector, which is a binary format, binary vector with length 3. So obviously all the values are going to be zeros, and except the integer index, which is going to be 1. Let's look at an example. See here, let's say the sequence is cat, dog and dog. So now we can see uh, if suppose cat is set to be 0 and dog is 1. So this is an integer encoding. Now we can convert this to vectors using one-hot encoding. You can see 0 is represented as 1, 0, and 1 is represented as 0, 1. Now why one-hot encoding? So it is to represent categorical data as more expressive. So here what do we mean by expressive? So generally if we take a data set and suppose it has a categorical data values, and we are going to convert them into integer values, and then use this integer values for the machine learning model. So machine model would definitely think that these values are are directly integer values, and they are not something which were converted from categorical, and they literally take them as values, zeros and ones, 0, 1, 2, 3. So now suppose uh, I would say uh, a best example would be temperature. So if there are three categorical values, cold, warm and hot, and when I converted them to integer values, so suppose 1, 2 and 3, and 3 is hot, 2 is warm and 1 is cold. So literally that makes sense. So the higher the value, it's hotter, and 1 it's cold, and such kind of values does make meaning when a model is being trained. But suppose there is no ordinal relationship here. Like if suppose the categorical values are like dog, cat, so there is no relation. Even if you put 1 or 3 to a dog and 4 to a cat, there is it literally doesn't make sense. So in such cases one-hot encoder makes more sense. Now let us walk through an example to understand one-hot encoding using Python scikit-learn library. So now in this case I have data list. You can see I took around three variables, three labels, and in this case we have an output sequence with around 10 time steps. The first step, let me convert this list to an array, value equal to array of data. For this I'm supposed to import array from numpy. So let's run this. Okay, now so as we discussed, first we are supposed to convert these values to integer, then we are supposed to encode those integers to one-hot encoders. So now first let's convert this to integers. So I'll use label encoder for this. So I'll from sklearn I'll import label encoder here, and I'll also import one-hot encoder. I will use a constructor to fit these values. So let's say label encoder is equal to label encoder, then I'll fit this. So integer that I get now, so integer encoded is label encoded dot fit underscore of values. So let's print those values and see the integers are generated. Yes, now we can see that 3 integers generated. You can see cat is represented as 0, dog as 1, and rat as 2. Now let's convert these integers and to one-hot encoders. So binary vectors sparse equal to false. So why did I keep sparse equal to false? Because by default one-hot encoder class will return more efficient sparse encoding. So this may not be suitable in all applications. So in this case we disable the sparse return type by setting it as false. So let's convert the integer encoded equal to integer encoded dot integer encoded 1 dot fit underscore. So I'm again trying to fit those values, the integer value. So let's try to print this values now. We can see the output here. Now in our next video we will be discussing on how to manually code one-hot encoder without using this sklearn libraries. Thank you.